So there's this guy, Johnny Enlow, on the right here, and his buddy Blobfish Steve Shultz on the left. They are basically prophets of Trump, and they say all kinds of insane, fascinating, hilarious stuff. So I want to listen. I basically went through the transcript. I pasted it into ChatGPT to see where the interesting parts were so that we could avoid the boring stuff. Let's start at 11 minutes. I guess they start talking about like vaccines and stuff here.
Childhood was like we had 3 vaccines: the polio, tetanus, and the smallpox. And when it came down to measles and chickenpox, we just had chickenpox and measles parties, and all the kids played together. We got it over with fast.
I had chickenpox parties too. When I was little, I went to a chickenpox party and was infected. It was miserable. It was nightmarish. And on top of that, I am now like susceptible to shingles where I wouldn't have been otherwise. And on top of even that, I don't need this. I don't need a chickenpox party. I could have just gotten the vaccine. I mean, the vaccine didn't exist when I was younger, but for modern day kids, they can just get the vaccine. They don't have to worry about shingles. They don't have to worry about suffering. There's no need for this. Measles is one of the most contagious diseases on planet Earth, to my understanding. It is so contagious that if you were born before like 1950 something, then they just assume that you had it. It's like an R naught number is what it's called. And its R naught number is like through the fucking roof. It'll stay in an elevator for 12 hours or something like that if there's somebody that had measles in the elevator. That is fucking wild, okay? There's no need for it, is my point. We don't need to go to measles parties. Why would you do that? It raises the death rate dramatically when you do shit like that.
And everybody lived happily thereafter, literally.
No, they didn't. That's the thing. They didn't. Not everybody lived happily, certainly, and not everybody lived. Are you shitting me right now with this? Really? This is like really insane. He lives in another universe. This dude was around when polio was around. And he, forgets how important it was that the vaccine came out? Oh my God, bro. Get a grip on reality, for real.
Now they make it sound like, oh no, they're all going to die. No, people just had parties and got it over with. So that's my stance. But you don't have to have...
Well, your stance is wrong.
My stance. But here's what I want you to know what's changed. I'm going to just read to you, instead of the 3 vaccines that my wife and I got, I'm going to just read this very quickly. There's only, instead of 3, there's only 25 now in the first 12 months.
Okay. So, I don't understand. What's the problem? Why do you think this is a bad thing? I'd be happy if they had 100 in the first 12 months. Because that means we've conquered more diseases. There's literally no downside to vaccines. This guy is such a sucker. I don't know how else to phrase it. He is a sucker.
Okay, you ready? At birth, hepatitis B. And Madrid says, what do they need hepatitis B at birth for?
Are you shitting me right now?
That's a sexually transmitted.
Let's find out. It can be sexually transmitted. It's a viral infection that spreads through contact with infected blood or other bodily fluids. I guess possibly spit. I'm not sure. It is a common way it can be transmitted sexually, but it also includes accidental needle sticks. Let's see, transferring it from mother to baby during childbirth, and a number of other methods of transmission. I've actually known that this is a misconception, that hepatitis is sexually transmitted. No, it's not. I mean, again, it can be, but that's not how it's transmitted all the time. I waited too long to eat, and now my food is kind of cold and soggy. That's okay, though. Anyway, even if it were sexually transmitted exclusively, so why do you care if a kid gets it? Why does it matter? You know, HPV is also sexually transmitted, right? I believe it is. And 12-year-olds get HPV shots, don't they? I'm not actually sure. Why do you care? Why does it matter to you? Do you know that there is a non-zero percentage of kids that are taken advantage of by the people in their lives? It's above 0. There are more than 0 people. If that's the case, it seems pretty obvious to me that it would be best to get them, protect them with vaccines and stuff.
Okay, at birth, Hepatitis B, 1 to 2 months. Hepatitis B, second dose, and then optional catch-up if missed. At 2 months, DTNP, which is diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, first dose.
Dude, is he talking shit about it, or is this an ad for vaccines? I'm loving this. Call me McDonald's because I'm loving it.
Then IPV, polio, first dose. Then HIV, first dose. Then PCV.
HIV? Is there an HIV vaccine? That doesn't sound right. There is no HIV vaccine. What the fuck are you talking? Are you just like making shit up right now?
Then IPV, polio, first dose. Then HIV.
Wait, did he say HIB? What the fuck is he saying?
Polio, first dose. Then HIV, first dose. Then PCV13, first dose. Then RV, first dose at 4 months.
I don't understand. So, why is this bad in your mind? Why are you bitching about this? Do you know how many lives this has saved?
Repeat the same vaccines that you just did.
Because vaccines are only necessary once, you see, and this guy knows because he's an expert on the subject.
6 months, third dose, DTaP, hepatitis B, third dose, PCV, third dose, RV, third dose, HIV, third dose, influenza, first dose, seasonally from 6 months old onward. At 12 months, measles, mumps, and rubella, first dose, varicella or chickenpox, first dose, hepatitis A, first dose, HIV, final dose, PCV13, final dose, DTaP, fourth dose, 12 to 15 month window.
Did you say fourth dose? Oh my gosh, so many doses. Give it a fucking rest, brother. This is such a joke. Seriously, this is like, are you advertising for it? Because you already sold me. I'm all in.
All right, that's your first 12 months of life. Imagine what they're going to do in the next years of your life.
Okay,
now, the thing about that is you want your kids to be healthy. That's why you go to a doctor, especially pediatricians, especially specialists in vaccines, because they've been taught in school.
School is bad. School is stupid. You shouldn't be going to school, right?
Been taught what's in the vaccines. They've been taught what's dangerous and what's not dangerous, what's healthy, what the side effects are. They've been taught which things you may need and which things you might not need. They've been taught all the reasons why these vaccines are important, and they know exactly why each one is important. Okay, are you ready for that? There's two doctors that are being in this video that I recognize the name. One is Dr.
Oh boy, he's gonna give us some what do you call it? Like some blobfish approved nutcases, right? And Miracle says, does blobfish even science? The answer is no. No. Blobfish does not science.
Judy Moskovitz, she's been on the Reawaken tour. And I saw Dr. Tenpenny, and there's a bunch of other...
Oh my God, is he bringing Tenpenny in? She's that woman that's basically said people are sticking keys to their foreheads as like evidence that, the vaccine is like killing people or whatever.
Doctors. Listen to this very closely. It's 4 minutes. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Okay, let's see if this is worth watching, because I got a breakdown here of all of the timestamps. 13 minutes, yeah. So apparently this is pretty interesting. Let's give it a watch.
A family physician.
I'm Dr. Judy Mikovits. My name is Dr. Patricia Ryan.
So I'm Paul Thomas.
I'm a professor of medicine at West Virginia University School of Medicine.
Oh, WVU. I knew people that went to WVU. It's not a bad school generally, but let me put it this way. I think they have some good people at WVU, but it doesn't surprise me to find out that an anti-vaxxer is at like a professor at WVU School of Medicine. That's where I would expect the anti-vaxxers to be coming from.
Cornelia Franz.
And you are a pediatric doctor.
I am a pediatric doctor.
And how long have you been practicing as a pediatrician?
A really long time. Over 30 years.
I'm Cami Benton.
Jane Orient. I'm an internist in Tucson, Arizona.
I'm Dr. Ramon Ramos. I'm a pediatrician here in Savannah, Georgia.
I'm a nurse urine physician.
My name is James Neuenschwander. I'm a physician in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
My name is Dr. Sherry Tenpenny.
Oh, God, Tenpenny.
From Cleveland, Ohio. I've been researching problems associated with vaccines since September of 2000. I put well over 20,000 hours of my own time into researching these problems with vaccines.
Dr. Bob Zajac. I'm a board-certified pediatrician.
My name is Tetiana Buchanich.
My qualifications, first of all, I'm a mom, and I believe that's my most important qualification. And I just happen to.
But it's not. That's the thing. It's not. Being a mom isn't a qualification to speak on medicine at all, like in any way, shape, or form, as a matter of fact. Are you just realizing this?
I have a PhD in immunology in addition to that.
We couldn't believe the medical profession as they started to come to the bus.
It took a lot for those people to stand up and talk. I mean, they've seen what happens to doctors and scientists who've taken this issue on. And
Well, I mean, they've seen how dipshits are called the dipshits that they are. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense that people would be, that doctors would be nervous about announcing that they believe that, like, the vaccine causes autism or something. That doesn't surprise me that they'd be nervous about that.
been destroyed.
Doctors, nurses, people with the top of the top qualifications in the medical world.
And the story they've been told by their colleagues, by public health, by their pharmaceutical industry sponsored medical education was in fact a grand lie.
So when you first started out to be a doctor, what kind
Is this guy rocking back and forth?
of training did you get on vaccines?
Honestly, I don't remember very much conversation at all.
We were just taught that they help prevent disease.
No. As a doctor, you were at the very least taught how they work. I guarantee that. And here's just one super basic, simple, straightforward example. If, like, people are unfamiliar with how they work, I'll tell you. One way they work is they take the virus, they separate the viruses into, like, you know, distinct pieces or whatever. Just like they separate a whole bunch out and they culture it or whatever you call it. And then they flood the culture with, like, I don't know, some chemical that kills the vaccine, that deactivates it, but doesn't destroy the DNA. So now you've got an inactive virus, but it's just the DNA. And then they give it to you to drink, for example. There's an oral version of this. You drink this solution with inactivated virus DNA, and your body, your immune system recognizes it and creates antibodies against it. That's how a vaccine works. That's it. It is that straightforward. There are different methods. There's deactivating it, there's truncating it, and a whole bunch of other stuff. There is no doctor who goes through any legitimate med school who doesn't know that this is how it works.
We were told on our rotations that vaccines were safe and effective. Here's a schedule.
We are not taught what's in those vaccines. We are just taught what the schedule is like.
Safe and effective, and they've saved millions of lives. We learned the schedule. We did not learn what was in them.
It was more philosophically vaccines than the science behind it, I guess, if you will.
It was what? I'm sorry. It was more philosophically vaccines than the science. So he's saying it was like a religious belief rather than a scientific belief that vaccines work. Are you shitting me? There are double-blind studies. You cannot get through med school without learning what a double-blind study is and having some degree of appreciation for it.
The science behind it, I guess, if you will.
As you know, medical doctors don't have a lot of training in vaccines.
If you are one of those people who knows more than doctors, that's fine, no vaccinations, but you're not allowed to go to the doctor anymore. Right? Why would you even want to go to a doctor who knows less than you do?
Yeah, no, 100%. That's exactly right. If you know more than doctors on certain subjects, then you don't need doctors, right?
It's amazing, but they didn't teach us very much.
Very little. Very little. And what you got basically was told, these are the things that you need to give to your patients.
It was just...
This is just bullshit. This is just a complete fictitious lie. Doctors are taught all kinds of shit about vaccines. They could not be doctors without understanding how vaccines work and why they're useful and all of that other shit. You can't convince me that they didn't teach these guys what a vaccine is and how it works.
More about administration of the vaccines rather than the real effects and risks associated with them.
Here's the schedule. These are the saviors of mankind.
I mean, are these people even doctors? I'm not sure. I know Sherry Tenpenny was in there, and I believe that Sherry Tenpenny actually did get a medical degree, to my knowledge, and to my surprise, but she isn't board certified. She isn't a doctor anymore. It's like Andrew Wakefield, dude that, like, claimed that vaccines cause autism, he had his license revoked. He's not allowed to practice medicine anymore or anything because it was a lie, and he knew it was a lie. The reason Wakefield came up with that claim in the first place because he was hired by a law firm to find clients that they'd be able to sue for things, which, you know, that's kind of how our system works to some degree. Like, we live in an adversarial system and you have to hash out problems between people through lawsuits and everything. So I get that. But in this case, it caused massive, insane problems. So unforgivable. And then he like quadrupled down on it.
They're safe, and you need to make sure everybody's vaccinated.
In the field of vaccines, everything is great. Everything is safe and effective. Everything has been determined. There is no need to go back and look at it again.
Well, here's the thing. There are some things that are spread by conspiracy theorists that are simply false. They're just false. There's no basis to any of these things in reality. None. So when a patient comes along and says, is this going to cause me autism? Or is this going to give me autism or whatever? The doctor's answer should be, no. This has been studied upside down, backward and forward. It's safe and it's effective. And you're a fucking moron for thinking otherwise. But having been trained in good bedside manner, doctors don't say that shit. They leave it at safe and effective. It's just like, God, dude, the degree or the level of conspiracy theory that has pervaded society, am I using that right, is wild.
It's like everybody else have to go to the insert and look what's in it. I don't know what they put in vaccines.
And so I kind of thought that they were saline water and like bits of viruses in it.
That's correct. Yes, that is what vaccines are. I mean, again, it depends on the type of vaccine that you get, but basically.
You know, super safe.
Yeah, you learn about adjuvants and you learn about the immune system and how it works. But as far as what the vaccine actually does, and you never heard about the negative effect of it.
That's because conspiracy theorists like you are obsessed with the idea that you are going to like die if you take a vaccine. There are very few negative effects that are very uncommon. Like if someone is allergic to egg and they take it or something, then it could hurt them. That is not the same as like giving you autism.
Vaccine. Never.
Zero. None.
The whole argument of your doctor has done all this research. Well, if they've done it on their own, maybe.
Yeah. Well, since there was no discussion of there being anything bad about vaccines, and
there really isn't. There's an incredibly uncommon side effect of like, you know, an allergic reaction or something, and that's it. And in those cases, you can get compensated for the injury or whatever. It is so insanely uncommon that the risk outweighs the benefit by like a mile and a half.
you spend some time on your own, you know, investigating, you have the presumption that vaccines are good and that everyone should get them, and
they are good.
That you should make sure that every child coming into your office is getting them on schedule or they're going to have some horrible illness.
So there wasn't any training. There wasn't any looking at side effects. There wasn't any of that. So nothing.
Would an immunologist be probably, of all the medical professions, someone that is near to being an expert?
I would say no one is an expert in vaccines. Absolutely no one. Because
that's just a lie. What's his name? Dr. Hotez? Peter Hotez? He's an expert on vaccines, for example, but these people would fucking lose their minds if they heard me say that.
Yes, because no one is being taught about vaccines in schools. And so basically
Why the fuck would they be taught about vaccines in schools?
In vaccine field, you really have to be a self-taught expert.
If doctors don't know...
That's just not true. I thought they meant in K-12 schools. In colleges, they do have courses about how vaccines work and stuff. Of course. God, these people are so full of shit. Every word out of their mouths.
About vaccines because they've had no training. Then who are you going to trust?
Ghostbusters.
You have to trust the parents. You have to listen to the parents.
25 vaccines.
Okay, wow. Well, I guess that little segment is over. And he says 25 vaccines given to children. Yeah. Is that even accurate? I'm not sure. But assuming it is. Yeah. Good. More lives saved. You know, this is a very straightforward calculation that we can do. Does it do more harm than good? And the answer is unequivocally and beyond question, yes, it does more good than harm.
From 0 to 12 months, and that's just getting started. That's just getting started. They're 1 year old.
Do you think they get the rabies vaccine if they get bit by something? Do you think they get the tetanus vaccine if they step on a nail or something? Do you think he accepts science then? Hey, why don't we just stop giving anti-vaxxers vaccines? If they don't want vaccines, they don't want vaccines, right? Let's see how quickly they start screaming when they get lockjaw.
How many more do they have to have in school? And nobody knows what's in them.
Bullshit. Yes, we do.
All the doctors are given is a schedule. This is the vaccines you give. This is the schedule upon which you will give it. They're safe and effective. Trust us.
That is just not true. None of that is true. Doctors know exactly what is in them. We do. We could just look this shit up.
We're our big pharmacy. All right, that's all I have to say about that.
Wait, we are big pharmacy? Is that what he said? I thought it was big pharma, not big pharmacy.
Trust us. We're our big pharmacy. All right, that's all I have to say about that. I told the people when we're all done with this episode, as we say goodbye, I told them to run that video again. I don't want anyone to miss that video. I hope you share it all over the world. So, all right, without further delay, let's bring in Johnny Enlow Unfiltered. So here's Johnny.
1349 hours declaring it a riot. My message hasn't changed. You are the light of the world. You are the salt of the earth. You must from now on target darkness in your society. We are almost there. The pain is for the awakening. The awakening is for your children.
This guy, his mind is shot. I'm so sorry to say. Like, his mind is just gone. I know people in his family, and you probably do too, because there's a famous influencer in his family. But anyway, he's actually a really nice guy, I understand. His mind is just shot. It's just gone. There is nothing knocking around up there other than Jesus. That's it. And that's like really heartbreaking to me. That's really sad. He has basically nothing else to live for.
Well, happy Monday, Johnny. I didn't tell you I was going to run that so that was a bit of a surprise. Any thoughts on that before I jump into what you have today?
Well, yeah, it actually goes with a key part of what the Lord has me to share today.
Really?
And so...
What are the chances? Had to be arranged by the Lord himself, right?
We'll get to it at that point. But yeah, that's... it's just insane what is being forced down our throats and has been for the longest time.
I agree, but I think the things that we would complain about being shoved down our throats are different.
It doesn't matter if you're pro-vaccine, against vaccine. The fact that we're not even allowed to see what is in it.
You aren't? Who the f*** told you you're not allowed to see what's in it? Where did you hear this?
And just the fundamental studies on it and data on it are not, to look for it means you're an anti-vaxxer.
No, it doesn't.
Like if you ask questions, you are now an anti-vaxxer. And then
no, when you make statements in the form of a question, you're an anti-vaxxer. Like asking the question, did Hitler really kill 6 million Jews? That's not a question. That is a statement. Yes. The answer is yes. I had questions about World War II, for example. I went in search of the answers, and I found the answers. That simple. Johnny Enlow, and, well, specifically Steve Shultz, they've made this core pieces of their personality. They're not asking questions anymore. They're making statements.
We have all these unexplainable casualties of health.
No, we don't. There are no unexplainable casualties of health. This drives me nuts. You know, there's this thing called died suddenly. I know that I'm interrupting a lot, but give me a second. There's the thing called died suddenly, that fucking movie or documentary or whatever the fuck you want to call it. People claiming that everyone was just dropping dead randomly. They're all dropping dead. It's because of the vaccine. No, that's not happening. You know, anti-vaxxers claimed that countless people would be dead within months of getting the vaccine, and it never happened. So then they just started claiming it did happen. Every case of somebody getting hurt, they linked back to vaccines. You remember Damar Hamlin got hit in the chest when he's playing football and fell? Died suddenly. He got vaccinated, even though he didn't, I don't think. Everything is a conspiracy in their heads. Yeah, you remember this? My dad trying to buy me off from getting the vaccine. This is from late May 2021, immediately after the vaccine came out, just about.
I don't want money, though. Like,
I know you don't, but I don't know what else to do.
you didn't do this to Michael and Kelsey. They already got it.
Don't you think I know that? Don't you think I know that? Why do you think I'm fucking crazy? Your mother got it. Why do you think I'm fucking crazy? My family is gone. My family is gone. By the end of this flu season, most of you will be dead. What the fuck do you expect me to be?
These anti-vaxxers are causing a degree of pain and sadness and stress in people's minds that is completely unnecessary and enough to like kill somebody from grief. It's like really, really sad, honestly.
Vaxxer. Like if you ask questions, you are now an anti-vaxxer. And then we have all these unexplainable casualties of health.
Again, no, we don't. We don't have that.
Including autism, but infertility and all kinds of other illnesses that are propping up, autoimmune diseases in our sons and daughters. And
just a lie.
Granddaughters and grandsons. And so, yeah.
I know RFK, and you're going to talk about RFK in a little bit, but RFK is going to be talking about vaccines a lot coming up. He's a hero, along with, as far as I'm concerned, Elon Musk, Donald Trump.
Oh God, dude, no!
These guys are heroic men and women of God that are coming forth and helping us, man.
Guys, gals, and non-binary pals of God, right? Totally.
So good. So,
yeah.
Well, jump right in, Johnny. I know you've got some stuff, and I didn't want to in any way even learn that much about what you were going to do because I was so focused on that. I just wanted to get that one hopefully delivered.
So I woke up this morning with a dream, and it's not really the focus of the whole thing, but it is sort of an opener for where we're going to go. And then there was something else I heard from the Lord at 4 a.m., and that has become the title of this episode. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Pope, and we're going to talk about the RV. But so
the Pope and the RV. Okay, I'm down.
The dream, I was sitting with about 15 or 20 prophets or prophetic people, and we were just kind of in an informal place and in kind of round table settings, talking with each other. And the conversation was about the 2020 election. And how what was going around is how it had disappointed and surprised so many of them. And so they were, I did not see that come. I was shocked. I was, that's what was going on. And included in that group of prophetic people was someone who's now passed on, is in heaven, but he's a very I'm not going to name him, very seasoned prophet because he was representative.
Are we talking about Kim Clement? I just about guarantee it.
Of the prophetic in general for the 2020. And so he was like, somebody said, well, was God in that? And then he was like, no. He's like, it was a huge loss for God in the kingdom.
Okay.
And
will you talk about what that loss was? Are you about to say, or is that just kind of like you're throwing that out?
No, I'm about to explain this very early.
Okay, got it.
I was, he was like horrified. He was calling it a huge loss for God and the kingdom. We were set back for 4 years. God lost, essentially, but we're coming back now. Okay. And then it was my turn to speak. And even though it's informal and going on, and I was very forceful. And I said at no time was Trump out of power. This is an entirely wrong reading, a wrong prophetic reading of that 4-year period of.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Oh my God. He believes that Donald Trump was secretly the president, like through the whole thing, and that he was inaugurated by the military secretly on March 4th, 2021. And Biden was just pretending to be the leader and taking the blame for all the bad things that happened in the government. I mean, it was absurd, bro.
2020 to 2024, and he was never out of power. And this was structured by God. There was not one thing lost. And so in that's kind of the essence. There was then the thinking that followed when I awakened from the dream. And I heard, you will be shown that this is for everyone who's listening right now. If you haven't already been shown that the 2024 is not what you think, there was not, we've heard multiple times from different ones that have been on, like, and there's like all kinds of, suspicions on, was that really Biden there? And suspicions. And
was that really Biden there? He says, yes, it was really Biden. My God, dude, these people are in another fucking universe.
I still have mine. I haven't figured it out yet, but yeah.
Well, I don't believe it was him there, but I don't have all the answers for it. Yeah. But so it was just, it's a wrong reading of event to say that it was entirely, they did steal it from one standpoint, the election.
Yeah.
And it was fraudulent. That is, Trump just in this last week put out one of his communiques telling the millions, 2.7 million votes that were deleted from him. And you're like, when's somebody going to do the part two? You can't just say that and how Pennsylvania had 200 and something thousand votes that went to Trump that were actually passed on to Biden, that just came out. And well, why is there not a bigger statement being made about the 2020?
You're saying they're just telling it in little pieces as if that's all there is. Yeah.
There's a rollout. There's like the consequences of, okay, they were guilty. Like, okay, when are some heads going to roll, so to speak?
Yeah.
They're not, because they weren't guilty. My God, dude, these people are in another fucking universe.
And so this is something we're going to, this is a reality that we're going to be shown a lot. And if you're waiting to be told it, there's a difference between what's going to be shown and what's going to be told.
Okay.
So we're actually in the process. In fact, that communique that I just tell you, the social media release from Trump this last week, is a proof. He's just telling.
Oh, here we go. It's a proof.
You a proof that came out as president of the United States that the election was hijacked, stolen, any way you want to look at it, just from one aspect of it, just what Dominion, the Dominion machinery was doing to it. And so this is where those of you who are waiting for there to be, in quote, mainstream media that was bought and set up by the globalist elite Luciferian, if you're waiting for them to confirm at some point before you're going to believe, like, it's not going to happen.
I have to be honest to you, Johnny. I used to think not that long ago that maybe somehow Trump would get him by the neck, so to speak, metaphorically, and they would be forced to say, we were wrong, we lied. But
do you, and that never like kicked anything in your mind that like maybe this whole thing was fucking nonsense the whole time? That never crossed your mind? Like not even once?
It's not.
Well, it is in some measure.
Okay.
But people don't even recognize what Elon Musk and formerly Twitter have done is exactly that.
Yeah.
They're like, we were involved in this. Actually, Zuckerberg on Facebook, we were involved in this. They are telling it.
Okay.
But it's like people are missing it and they're expecting like in unanimity, all of them are going to say that. That's not going to happen. And so there's going to be an ongoing release of a lot. And we're about to hit a real crescendo and a lot more right now, I believe, in the next weeks.
Yeah, any 5 minutes now, right? It's going to happen any 5 minutes. You're going to be proven correct any second.
And months, but really the next weeks is going to be huge. But remember this, you're going to be shown a lot. You're not necessarily going to be told that. You're going to be shown. And so you just understand that that's part of the proof.
Can I just have you pause for a second on that, Johnny, to make sure you make that point? You're saying if they were to just come out and say this happened, then this happened, then this happened, and expect us to believe it, that will never fly. they're having to show you, and by showing us, can you be a little more specific? What
By
do you mean
by showing, the example was Trump's own social media saying these numbers just came out.
Okay.
And so, and this is happening over and over and over.
Right. His own social media. I don't understand. What the hell is he talking about right now?
What RFK Jr. is just saying, what you're just seeing from these doctors in that little 4-minute clip you just did.
Yeah.
That is being shown.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to wait for MSNBC to admit, unless they get totally turned around, MSNBC, and there is a lot of repurposing taking place right now of former deep state operations that seem like the only hope for them was to be demolished and destroyed. They're all being repurposed. So little by little, different ones of them are beginning to tell the story. But part of
oh my God, little by little people are telling the story. Come on.
This, even the purpose of me sharing this and of the dream, was how this needs to be understood prophetically.
Oh, you had a prophetic dream.
Even by, if I'm speaking to prophetic voices, intercessors, prophets, if you think President Trump lost and the kingdom lost that second period and we got set back 4 years, you are deceived. You are deceived in the narrative. You are deceived in what happened. You are deceived in the process of how God has been operating. And in that, you must understand that there was a need. There were different things in I'll call it Trump's second term, 20 to 24 with his second term.
I guess he thinks it's his third term. Is that right? What the fuck?
Assignment was different. He was not to sit officially in the seat of the president, which is a puppet seat anyway. So people need to understand it. That is a puppet seat. The presidential seat has been for a long time. It's where puppets sit with puppeteers behind him. I'll keep explaining here, Steve.
Is that literal?
And so what he was doing, the assignment was awaken the people and take out the puppet masters, take out the puppeteers. So don't worry about the puppets.
Okay.
And so whether it's Biden or not Biden, whether it's Pelosi or not Pelosi, whether it's a bunch of congressmen and senators or replacement or not or whatever, that's the puppet level. He didn't need to show up there because that's the whole point, is if you don't remove the puppeteers, then the puppet show continues.
In other words, the people pulling the...
Oh, please, dude. So he's coming up with this ridiculous excuse for why Biden wasn't removed and replaced with Trump. Are you shitting me right now? Just admit when you're wrong.
Strings saying dance and do this. Those are the ones. And these are like what? Like nameless, faceless as far as we know? Is that what you mean?
As far as we know, basically, yes.
Okay.
And so we could guess on that some level of puppeteering taking place by Gates and Soros and things, but it's even...
Oh, God, the perpetual boogeyman. You know, Soros is not like some puppet or whatever, some puppeteer or whatever the hell. The hate these people have for him is just bizarre to me. And Gates, too. Like, Gates has done nothing but, like, benefit society. Honestly, I don't understand. I mean, not, in the past, like, 30 years, he's only been beneficial to society.
It's more than that. It's further behind than that. So Trump is dealing with them and allowing for the pain for the awakening. So there had to be enough pain allowed. So you do give them some measure of controlled power. So there was a measure of controlled power so that there wouldn't be, after the fact, if suddenly everybody found it, Trump was in charge the whole time and he let us go through this. Well, no, there was.
Oh, yeah, I see. You got to come up with a ridiculous excuse, huh? For why Donald Trump, allowed all of the suffering to happen. Okay, go on.
Allowing of certain functions of government to remain with, we'll say, the elite globalists. Anyway, so that's that. And we just want to understand that at no time was the kingdom of God surprised. God was not surprised. I'm struck within my dream. I was like, this seasoned prophet was absolutely wrong at reading what took place.
Okay.
And it represented a general prophetic miss.
So to clarify that one point, we're not naming a name, but there was a prophet and God...
Well, name names. I want to know the names.
Showed you that this prophet said all of these things were going to happen or not happen or something, and nothing came of it, basically. Is that kind of what you're saying? I don't want to put, because you're saying they were wrong. What?
They were wrong in their perception that we got set back 4 years.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
The kingdom of God did not get set back for 4 years.
Got
Nor
it.
did Trump lose authority in the.
I see. So people claiming that Donald Trump was robbed of it, they're misguided, because Trump was actually in charge the whole time, I guess. All right.
4 years. An election was stolen in the eyes of the people, in front of the people. But at no time did he cease having authority from heaven's standpoint, nor did he really cease having authority on earth. That's why you have Hayes come up and say, even in the last 4 years, is like, he's actually our commander-in-chief. He's my commander-in-chief. And she serves the Department of Defense. So you've heard this from other places as well. Anyway, so that's one point.
Yeah.
And then at 4 a.m., I just woke up and heard from the Lord, tell my people to turn on their bright lights.
Okay.
And I had never heard that terminology before. And so I'm going to get to that in just a second. I do want to acknowledge some things going on having to do with the president and RFK Jr. And, I see that he released again. You must pay attention to President Trump's communiques in the various ways that he's doing it, whether you get your social media, he's telling you. It was like yesterday, the day before, he mentions the good conversation with China, and he says a full reset going on.
He did.
And so that was significant.
A full reset was going on. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean.
He talked about this huge deal with the UK that just took place. That's a bigger deal than anyone can imagine. There is a removing of the deep state's deep purses that is taking place. The tariffs have been huge and key. There's the practical unfairness of what they are, but they're very targeted and blowing up the economic foundation that the elites have had. So that must be understood. And so you had all the experts. He's throwing us into depression. We're going to go down. And Trump's just like, could y'all just relax? Just be cool, chill.
No, he's throwing us into a depression, actually. I'm not sure why anybody should be chill or relax or cool here. Now, what happens when we actually do, enter the depression that is pretty much inevitable? What's Johnny Enlow going to say then? Is he going to say, chill, he knows what he's doing, he's going to bring us out of it? I mean, we are already in an economic nightmare. Right now, there's nothing that he can do to reverse the damage that he has already done. So I don't want to hear it. There is no just wait, he's going to fix it type of deal. He created this train wreck for us.
And so today, you have to understand in the first hour or two of trade, Monday morning in Wall Street, the stock market gained $2 trillion.
That's because it lost $4 trillion. And I don't even think that's accurate anyway. But even if it were, he lost twice that amount. Are you shitting me right now?
Really? I knew it was up. I didn't know it was up that much. Wow.
And he had just said after the UK deal, go ahead and invest in stock. So if he's telling you that, that means whatever way they were going to take down the stock market, if he gives you the warning to pull out, do it. If he says,
this is so fucking stupid, dude. I'm sorry. This is so much.
Johnny, when he said that, it was over the weekend, and I thought, I don't know if I ever remember a president saying, basically what he said is, whatever you do, buy stock now because it's about to go up. I thought,
no, he didn't say that. He said now is a good time to buy, and he said that because it's going to drive the stock up because people were hoping to ride this wave because they thought he was going to do something really useful or whatever. Yeah, obviously. This is not some secret plan to get Trump supporters rich or something. He's trying to fix the fuck up that he made.
I can't believe he's saying that. That's even not considered normal good form or something, but
oh my God, dude, get fucking help, please. This is insane.
He did.
And he's doing a lot. And then he announced yesterday or the day before yesterday, I'm about to make my biggest one of my biggest announcements ever. And so what was that? So the big announcement is really, it's earth-shattering, more than people might understand as well, where there's going to be a reduction on what is paid for prescription medicine.
Yeah.
And just go ahead and get it. I'm not going to.
Yeah, by the way, well, first of all, I have a question for you. Why the f did he erase the law that Biden put into place that lowered prescription medicine? When he got into office, that was one of the, what's the word? One of the executive orders that he signed was to erase the gains that Biden had made in favor of people who were just like trying to buy their medicine and not spend $15,000 on it. And suddenly he brings it back. When you erase something and then bring that thing back, you don't get credit for bringing it back. FYI.
Read that, but go ahead and get the whole thing and read it to yourself. But he's establishing the United States as a favored nation status. I think was worded a little bit different, where whatever is being sold wherever around the world, wherever the pharmaceuticals are being sold at the lowest price, U.S. gets that price. There can be no price on the planet where.
Yeah, I think that was the term they used. It said wherever it was given most favored nation trading status, and therefore the prescription costs are way down, we get the same price. It was like, are you kidding me?
This is so fucking stupid, dude. Now you want regulation in the healthcare system. Now. Why didn't you want this 4 years ago when Biden was talking about it? What's different? Could it be that now Donald Trump is doing it? Is that the difference?
And
that's huge.
And it is going after the root of the pharmaceutical economic engine, which if you don't understand, the word pharmaceutical is very deceptive.
Oh, here we go. We're going to get into a conspiracy theory about past participles and shit.
Big pharma is deceptive. It's big Lucifer. The way it's operated against our health in every kind of way, our spiritual health, our soul health, our health, practical, physical, just with the things Steve was showing you, with the advancing of vaccines. Like, how ridiculous is it that there would be 25 vaccines that are needed in the first year?
12 months. Unbelievable.
Give it a fucking rest.
It's like just the most common of common sense. It tells you that it's not conspiracy theorists that believe the opposite. You have to be half brain dead to accept that 25 vaccines.
Well, fuck you too.
In your baby in the first year is something valid. You're the one. I just tell the person that would accuse us as being the conspiracy theorist, you're the nuts. Like it makes sense.
I'm the nut. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. Right. Totally. Give it a rest, brother. In all seriousness, I'm so sorry that this happened to Johnny and to Steve Shultz. These two people were probably raised in an environment where questioning was unacceptable. And this insane nonsense was assumed. It's just a shame, man. It's just a shame that these people never had a chance, honestly.
Never a more true thing have you said. That is so true. You're nuts to believe that.
This is literally the exact opposite of true.
Your baby needs those kind of injections of something that is meant to trigger a reaction in their body. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called a vaccine.
Okay. It's meant to trigger your natural immune system. Yes. You're literally what is the retort to this? Don't they always say, I have a natural immunity, so I don't need a vaccine? You're literally trying to trigger something in your body to create a natural immunity in the exact same way. Please, people, take medicine, okay? I'm begging you to take medicine.
It was meant to trigger something that was not otherwise triggered. And we're going to put 25 of them in that you know nothing about. And even your doctors don't know what it is.
The doctors do know what it is. Everybody knows exactly what it is. We knew what was in the COVID vaccine. You know how I know that? Because multiple competing companies, created the product at the exact same time, basically. Moderna started it out, and then Pfizer And then Johnson & Johnson came up with their own version, and AstraZeneca and a whole bunch of other companies. This is not a mystery. And out of curiosity, I did actually look this up one time. How do they make, like, the vaccine? And as far as I understand it, the answer is they have a bunch of fruits. I think it's like cantaloupe or something. And they put, like, they infect the cantaloupe with this very specific, like, bacteria that produces, like, RNA that they need. And then they just grow, like, fields and fields and fields of this stuff. It's kind of like penicillin in a lot of ways, to my understanding. I could be wrong. Vaccinologists could tell me better, but I believe that's how it works.
It's crazy.
So you have something, speaking of RFK Jr., he pointed out after Trump made this announcement as well, that though this is a surprising statistic, the United States is only 4.2% of the world population. Is that amazing?
But we hold 18% of the prison population. Is that what you were going to say?
We think of ourselves being,
well,
we're at least 50%. No, 4.2% of the population, but 75% of pharma revenue.
Yeah, totally. It's not because we're taking too much medicine. It's because they're charging us out the fucking wazoo when they don't need to.
Comes from the United States. So this is going after that. 4% costing 75% of the revenue. And when you see, you know, I rarely watch TV, but it seems like every second or third ad commercial is now Moderna, Pfizer, and
why would it be Moderna, Pfizer, and whoever else?
Some kind of big.
They aren't advertising the vaccines anymore, are they? I mean, Pfizer is just like a large company. I think Moderna got famous for the COVID vaccine specifically, right?
Pharma programming taking place there. This must be resisted at the highest level. And so, again, we're being shown. Trump is showing. RFK Jr. is showing. And when you're shown, you as the people then carry a responsibility to your part. And this is we're going to go into a little bit. This is a new muscle for the body of Christ, because we've planned Christianity in the four walls of the church by and large. You know, we've planned like that's where you have it. The gifts function. Then you get, even if you're charismatic, you speak.
Charismatic being like the specific version of Christianity that these people adhere to. Like they, you know, speak in tongues and they prophesy and all the other shit.
Speak in tongues in church. You have the gifts in church. You heal people in church. You
yeah, he's describing charismatic now.
Figure out how to show up in church, and it's an absolute upside down paradigm the Lord is taking us into. Not that we see that happening there, but it being the priority. It has to be the Monday through Saturday window that we begin to invade with the kingdom as never before. And it connects. I'm going to explain that a little better on Turn On Your Bright Lights and how that comes.
Anyway, Jesus Christ, dude, tell me what you think about it in the comments.